Hey everybody, welcome back. It feels like every Sunday I record a video of Isaac where I'm like, it's been a couple days, but it's true. It's been a couple days. Let's turn the randomizer on here. Well, now we're talking. Now that dude, we haven't had what I would consider to be like a 9 out of 10 roll in terms of like entertainment in a while. Now we're talking. Now we're freaking talking. Anyway, so what happened this time? Well, I'll tell you, okay? I was doing well. Baby was back in daycare. She spent a full, 4-day week in daycare. If you want to get mired in the minutia of whether or not 4 days is a full week, here's the door, okay? You can just walk out, I'm not arguing over that or, is a taco salad, a sandwich, if you eat it with, gloves on, or if you put mustard on it. Like, I'm past that point in my life, okay? So we don't worry ourselves too much on the semantics anymore. I don't know, I feel like maybe I take a tears upgrade. I don't know how much it helps us, but it's not like the squiggles really hurt us that much. I think it helps us a lot, honestly. It's kind of a great trinket, to be straight up with you. But then, Monday, hit the recording button hard. Hit it hard, We're talking, like, I think I did 4 videos in 3 hours, which is, like, the window that I got available. Much like Papa John's ate 30 pizzas in a month or something. What is it, 30 pizzas in 28 days? 28 pizzas in 30 days? I can't remember. Whoa, don't get any big ideas here, thank you. Tuesday, same thing. Wednesday, started to feel a little hoarse in the old voice box. Still recorded, managed to knock out a few episodes, but most of them admittedly were super auto pets. I said, that's no problem, I'll make up the Isaac episodes tomorrow. And then, you know what happened. Well, maybe you don't. This is a little atypical for me, but Thursday, I finished my stream, and I was like, my voice is it's just done. Like, my voice is actually shot. I think it's not used to working, like a full week anymore. So I said, rather than exacerbate the issue and maybe give myself some vocal polyps or something like that, just didn't do any recording on Thursday. It was kind of nice, Got some groceries, got ahead of the game on the chores, relaxed a little bit. And then that kind of kick-started, like, the Summer of George from Seinfeld, where he, why not? I know why not, because it makes the game sound horrible. He signed a 1-year contract for a job, then they find out he's a bad person, so they wish to fire him, but he won't let them fire him because he has a 1-year contract. So he eventually, I believe that he gets let go with pay. They're like paying him not to work, thus begets the Summer of George, right? Maybe I got it a little backwards, I can't recall. Anyway, it was kind of my weekend of George. I mean, admittedly, today's only Sunday, but like Friday, a lot of baby time. Saturday, it was Kate's mom's birthday, so we had some lunch. But then after lunch, the baby took a nap. That would normally be like, emergency recording time. I was just like, you know what? I'm kind of like lazy. I did absolutely nothing. I did something I don't know, I probably haven't done in at least a couple of years. We're going to go Angel Deals. I turned on a hockey game on the television where my favorite team wasn't even playing. And then I sort of like half watched it while I looked at stuff on my phone. And I gotta tell you, if you haven't tried it in a while, if you get the opportunity, I would recommend it. Feel like after just a couple of days of rejuvenation, even though I still put in the work, I still like worked out, I still did a bunch of chores. I mean, I had lunch with my mother-in-law. No, we actually get along very well. I'm just trying to become a boomer comedian. I'm done with the millennials, man. I'm trying to court 2 new audiences. One is the Gen X baby boomer cohort. No offense, Gen X. Because you have all the disposable income. I think it's a bullish business decision. And then the other one is the Zoomers, because they're the ones who are, at the stage in their life where maybe they got a little bit more time to watch stuff on YouTube. I'm not saying you're not busy. See, I've already alienated some of you. I apologize. Oh, really? I have time to watch YouTube in between working 6 jobs and going to... Okay, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying... I don't know what to say. I don't know how to bring it back from this. Thank you for the speed upgrade. Anyway, I'm mostly just joking. But what if I just became a Gen Z boomer? What if I was like, you know, what if one of my punchlines was like, my mother-in-law is so annoying. She doesn't even listen to Charlie XCX. You think if I perfectly crafted a joke, I could hit the over 60s and the under 20s and tickle them right in the funny bone and start playing US stadiums? Do you think it's possible? Me neither. You gotta admit, there were a few more plus twos than you'd expect there, I would imagine. What was that? I'm willing to, at this point, just check this. Oh, you shouldn't have. Holy cow. Seraphim. Seraphim is, or not Seraphim, Salvation is fun. Wafer is really good. Immaculate Heart is like just the 20% damage upgrade. We don't really benefit from the orbital tiers though. So I actually, strangely enough, I think I'm gonna go Salvation. But it's partly because Salvation is like a cool and pretty good item, and partly because I think like Immaculate Heart doesn't actually work that well for Tainted Lilith, maybe. Like, you still get the damage upgrade, and it's always fun to like hit hard, obviously, but this is a little bit more engaging, I think. I would like to think, at least. And I gotta tell you, we went out for, it was like an upscale Mexican place. So I'll tell you right off the bat, as much as I would love to appeal to authenticity and be like, you know, we got tacos at like an amazing, authentic taqueria. This was really like, is an upscale, kind of like bougie Mexican restaurant. You can tell it's bougie because the restaurant is not tacos, burritos, enchiladas, etc. It's like, you know, mole and I don't even remember. Like let me put it this way: I basically did the ordering on the menu because my mother-in-law has maybe had Mexican food like 2 times in her life, and she was like, I don't know what any of this is. But I have to tell you, you may think that I don't know what I'm talking about, and that's true. I don't necessarily think Vancouver is a mecca of Mexican food, but I'm telling you, I had the best taco I think I've ever had in my entire life while I was there. Now, I know I said on the menu it wasn't just taco burrito, etc., etc., but the taco they did have was a bone marrow taco. It was like a skirt steak and bone marrow taco. I didn't get it for the bone marrow. I got it just because, you know, out of all the stuff on the menu, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It ended up being one of the best tacos I've ever eaten in my entire life. It was like a sublime experience. I didn't want to share it with my family. Kate was like, do you want a bite of mine? Hers looked really good, don't get me wrong, but I was like, don't be mad, but I don't want a bite of yours because I don't want to in turn give you a bite of mine. That's how good it is. Now, if she had pressed me for a bite, I would have given her one. We're married, you know, that's in the vows, essentially. I think it's, you know, and if one of you orders an entree that's sublime and the other person has an entree that's merely passable, do you, the groom, accept that you will give a bite to her, the bride? I do, of course I do. Not a problem. That being said, I was getting a little protective over it, I'm not gonna lie. Hold on. Restock machine, I'll take that. What was it? Well, it was just like the tortilla was just really nice. That's the first start. Then it, instead of having, you know, like some shredded cheese on top of it, clearly they had put some shredded cheese on the tortilla and then melted it on the stovetop or whatever cooking mechanism they had used. So already it had like a solidifying foundation of melted cheese, some kind of cheese, I don't know, an orange-white blend. Maybe it's a Colby Jack, I don't know. Maybe it's a Monterey Jack. It was not a cotilla. That would have been interesting, though. Then, a beautifully cooked skirt steak, little blackened, so it had like a little crispiness to it. You know, it had that bark. Very, very pungent, you know, diced onions that were fantastic. Little bit of like a sour cream lime juice crema on top of it that was beautiful. And then they had the bone marrow as well. that you could like scrape out with a spoon and put a little bit on the taco. And the bone marrow, I'm gonna be honest with you, it added a little bit, but it was not actually, I think that's like the selling point. Like they sell you by being like, oh, how strange, a bone marrow taco. But then the resale point is you're like, what the heck, this is like the best taco I've ever eaten in my entire life. It was a sublime dining experience, so I'm not gonna deny it. Why would you place it here? This is not smart. No, I want the prayer card. I want the prayer card. Okay, like that's pretty good. We could do better, but that's pretty good. All right. So, yeah, that was my Saturday, and I had a wonderful time. It was great. I even, like, you know, when you have a good meal, it sticks with you a little bit. But I remarked to my wife like 5 times that day. I was like, man, I was just thinking about how good that taco was. It's actually crazy. It wasn't that there was one thing in it, like, oh, you know, they put a little chili powder in it, like Jesse Pinkman. It wasn't something like that. It was just like every element was done to perfection. I'm still talking about it. Now we've done like a 10-minute bit on just the taco at this point. It clearly has not been 10 minutes just on the taco. Anyway, so that was my Saturday, so it was a pretty good weekend. Nothing to complain about, really. I got my booster shot next weekend. I don't know, do you want me to do 15 minutes on the booster shot? I don't know what to say, I haven't had it yet. I do think that it's gonna... My personal prediction, and I like doing this because it's meaningless, but I'm putting it in stone anyway, so you can either judge me for being right or you can judge me for being wrong. But I think this one's gonna knock me. Because the first one didn't knock too many people, and it knocked me pretty good. I was like, I felt for like 12 to 24 hours, I felt like I had the flu. Not a bad one, just like, I was like, oh, I'm coming down with something, and then my immune system was like, on it, boss. Second one, a lot of people got knocked out. I didn't even notice, like my arm just got a little sore. Didn't experience really any other symptoms at all. But, seems like the third one also seems to be hitting people, and I think that I'm kind of due. Like, I feel like, obviously I'm not an immunologist. I am merely... I'm anthropomorphizing my immune system as if it was like a person. I'm so smart. But I kind of feel like the first one, my immune system was like, we haven't experienced any threats for so long that this one seems like it's a huge deal, so they sent out the cavalry, right? And that took all the antihistamines kind of took me out of it for a little while. Then for the second one, they were like, we've seen this before, just give it a quick zap. And then now maybe because they took the last dose a little easy, this third one, they're gonna be like, okay, now like this thing keeps coming, we gotta give it a little bit more gas. Now, again, I'm essentially, there's gotta be a fallacy here. The appeal to scientific ignorance, I guess, is probably that would be a good name for it. I know how the immune system works, but the thing is, I mean like on a broad sense, but the thing is, that's really like annoying to think about. I would rather just be like, what if the immune system was just like a guy, and then use that as the lens with which to evaluate how it's performing. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to, really, my immune system, I really feel like in December, it was kind of like Keith Yandel. The Iron Man NHL player for the Florida Panthers, who recently broke the record for most consecutive games played without missing a game due to injury or absence. Like, look, this metaphor now I'm realizing makes no sense because I missed a lot of games due to injury or absence in that period. But you could argue that Keith Yandel probably should have missed some games over that period as well, you know? Like, is he an NHL caliber defenseman on one of the best teams in the league? Well, 50%. He's on one of the best teams in the league, but honestly seems like, wait, is he is he on the Flyers? No, wait, I don't even know where Keith Yandel. Wait, Yandel's not on the Panthers. Look, okay, anyway, long story short, I feel like my immune system in December was like a really tired guy. Just a guy that was like, I wouldn't need a break. And then, it got a little extra work, and now I think it's kicked into gear, and it's like, I'm ready to beat the crap out of this booster dose when it comes in. Like, let me at him, and my brain's gonna be like, no, this is like, it's good, let it do its work, and it's gonna be like, I hit him with the right hit. I don't know what I'm talking, like, again, man, what if your immune system was a boxer, what boxer would it be? I think mine, and you can't say the one that I say, you can only have one. I'm gonna say that I'm Muhammad Ali, mixed with, Prime Mike Tyson, and I wonder who the best pound for pound boxer is of all time. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, probably Floyd Mayweather. I mean, you gotta add in a little Floyd Mayweather. I mean, the defense is crazy. I've seen about 3 boxing matches in my entire life, just for the record. 0 of them were YouTuber boxing matches live at Caesar's Palace. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll get the invite. I would still like a deal with the Angel. Toss me one of those. You know what? We're at 13 minutes here. Like, this is... We got to pay it forward for the next run. He will play more Isaac, Copium. That's why he's using the donation machine. So true. So true. Okay, 829's pretty good. I mean, this is an insane run. This run is insanely great. Feels good to be back, honestly. I'm now at the point where I'm like, I'm not going to promise you that there's going to be an episode a day forever. I'm like... Let's stick with what we got going on right now, which is like through the week it's been pretty solid. With a lot of like turbulence for me. So for those episodes to come out was something. But also I'm like, man, it feels good to kind of relax a little bit more. I mean, like, I'm not relaxing like on a cabana in the Caribbean or something like that. Like, a lot of my relaxing is reading, you know, my Peekaboo Animal Farm and stuff like that. Not the George Orwell one. We'll probably wait till the baby's, I don't know, like 2 or 3 before we introduce her to the George Orwell novels. You know, I hate to say this. It kind of sucks that the classic response to somebody who, at least online, who's like, please reopen Applebee's, like it's against the Constitution for me to not be able to get unlimited Appies. In the month of July. It kind of sucks that that's, for now, like, inextricably linked. Maybe inextricably is not the word I'm looking for there, but you get the idea. You know what? I'll take Infest Intruder, whatever it's called. I don't... I'm so sorry. I should have done that. That was on the randomizer. Nevertheless. It sucks that the response to that, and I get it, but it sucks that the response is like, it's literally 1984. Because 1984 is actually like that's a great book. And I don't think I'm telling anybody something they've never experienced before. But it's like, that's genuinely a great novel that is probably, you know, in the same vein as something like Fight Club or The Wolf of Wall Street, in that if you read it in like the most selfish way possible, you misinterpret it, I think, or at least apply it to things that it shouldn't be applied to, right? Like, there's also, I mean, if you look up the inspiration, obviously, of 1984, it's kind of like the subtext is very apparent within the novel. I mean, this is super text, literally, Big Brother's watching you or whatever. I know you're like, you've never read it. I've read that book. Not only did I read it in 11th grade when I was forced to read it, I had also, that was like the easiest English semester of my life because I had already read 1984 when I was like 12 and, you know, an only child who lived in the country on summer vacations. My only friends were between the pages, you know what I mean? But I feel like it's gone from like, you know, Big Brother is propaganda to like Big Brother is when... no Applebee's. You're like, it's literally, you know, it just sucks for George Orwell's legacy that, like, you know, one of the reasons he's probably getting, you know, he's going super viral on Google Trends over the past couple of years is people, like, trying to Google his photo and then put some flavor text underneath it. That's like, if I can't buy my Halloween decorations in July, it's literally 1984. You know what I mean? Again, I understand it. It's just, I kind of feel bad for George, man. I know he's been... deceased for quite some time. But I don't think you can have that with like another author. Like, you know, nobody but me is going to the grocery store and then being like, this is literally like the old man in the sea every time they see a fish. Like in my head, I'm like, man, this fillet might have come from a fish that could have dragged me for, you know, days at a time further and further away from my home, thus leading me to question, you know, the nature of honestly being a man, but also my legacy and my ambition, and also the respect that I have not only for my rival in a sense, but also the respect between a predator and prey. And then at the end, was it really worth it? Well, you know, that depends. Do you side with the, you know, but look, I'm not going to spoil The Old Man in the Sea. It is like a 70-year-old novel. Honestly, I'd really recommend you read it. I thought The Old Man in the Sea is a hot take. Old Man in the Sea, kind of a great book. Also, it's like 80 pages or something. So, you know, if you're looking for a pretty casual read, I mean, I think it's got themes in it that they're not really like mature themes, like, you know, what if your leg was a gun? They're more mature themes like, you know, what does a legacy mean to you? Or, you know, what's the true cost of getting older if you're measured exclusively like by your labor? You know what I mean? But it's also just kind of a story about a man who's fishing. If you like other fishing novels, such as Frog and Toad Go Fishing, this is the Netflix algorithm. Because you watch The Old Man in the Sea, you might be interested in Frog and Toad Go Fishing. Honestly, it sounds kind of good. I could go for that. What's the soup of the day? Or what's the soup du jour? It's the soup of the day. I'll have that. That's about it, though. I haven't really gotten up to too much. I did on between Thursday, or maybe Wednesday and Thursday, when I had a little bit of... No, I wanted to deal, you piece! Between Wednesday and Thursday, when I recorded a little bit less than usual to preserve the integrity of my larynx, I did watch the Judd Apatow movie, This Is 40, that I had never seen before. I don't like to be a hater, okay? I don't want to go down in history. I hate to do this, because I mean, I think we just might need the keys, so that's why I'm doing it. But I don't want to go down in history as a hater, but is there any reason that a dramatic domestic comedy about middle-aged life needs to be 2 hours and 13 minutes long? Judd Apatow. Like, I looked up the runtime of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood just to be like, I really feel like the movies are the same length. And it turns out that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is 30 minutes longer than This Is 40. But I feel like it still should be said that in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like, it's kind of like a joy to watch that movie. You know, you're seeing two friends go through stuff in their life, and there's a, you know, a bombastic sort of plot that's happening in and around the movie as well that also ties in greatly to the ending. It's like, it's the kind of movie that if you like it, you just sort of enjoy spending time in it, right? This Is 40. Look, I'm not going to say I didn't laugh from time to time, but there's definitely like a part of me when I was watching it that was like, why is this movie... Like, it's just, it doesn't... I got about halfway through it, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll finish this, because I think it's close to the end. And then I clicked on my phone screen, and Netflix was like, oh, there's an hour and 22 minutes left in this. And I was like, you're kidding me, right? I'm not against a long movie. As long as it has a giant purple alien in it that's threatening to kill the Avengers, like, I can keep my attention, okay? No, I genuinely don't mind a long movie. It's just, This Is 40 is like, the whole movie is like so self-indulgent, man. I don't, like, nobody's talked about this movie for like 10 years. It is 10 years old this year, so like, I'm the only person that's like, hey, did you guys see This Is 40? I was just kind of stunned that, I mean, Judd Apatow must have... Obviously, he had some huge hits, many of which I actually like a lot, but obviously he was kind of a studio darling because somebody greenlit a 2 hour and 15-minute long diary entry about like what it means to be 40 years old, and then was like, sure, don't even worry about like if there's any laughs in it at all. Okay, this needlessly rude, but this is what I have to do until you know, the new Matrix movie is free because I've already painted myself into like an ideological corner where I refuse to pay to watch it because I'm already insulted by the fact that it came out free on HBO Max in the United States. As an HBO subscriber in Canada, you think I'm going to pay for HBO and I'm also going to pay for the Matrix? Absolutely not. So, you know, Warner Brothers, honestly, you can just kind of like, you know, wait me out on that one. I got a lot of heat for that, by the way. I was surprised. I guess I appealed to kind of the Letterboxd crowd, which I can understand. If you got good taste in streamers, you probably got good taste in cinema, right? Source, dude, just trust me. But when I mentioned that I tapped my phone screen, I told this story on stream, a lot of people were like, I can't believe you watch movies on your phone. I honestly didn't know that that was... And in fact, I don't actually believe that that's rare, but I certainly didn't think it was remarkable. Isn't that probably where like 50% of movies are consumed these days? I mean, in its own weird way, because you might think that it's like I do that for convenience, and that's true. You know, we don't have a TV, pardon me, in our bedroom, so I watch TV on my phone in bed instead. Well, not TV, but Netflix. I guess it's TV. You know, I'm not trying to draw a distinction necessarily. But the other reason I do it, as insane of a message as this might seem to you, I actually feel like I can kind of... It's one thing if you sit down to watch a movie, and you're committed and you're focused. I can pay attention, no problem. I can follow the plot. I'm not going, who's this? I'm like, you know, that's Chappie. I can follow it. But if I'm only sort of like half in on a movie, I'm watching it on the TV, but I'm actually like scrolling through my phone being like, hey, did you see this? Wow, can you believe the thing this dumb person said? So one way to neutralize that is to watch the movie on your phone. You know, normalize the size of the screen in like 2 seconds. You're like... You know, pretty soon you're like, wow, this is like an immersive cinematic experience. It's like I'm really at Dunkirk right now. No offense, Chris Nolan. But then also, you're not you're not gonna be a pure psycho and turn on the TV and be like, I'm just gonna channel surf while I'm watching this movie. No, you've removed the temptation. Nobody's gonna watch 2 things at the same time. That's like, you gotta talk to a doctor. Why did I even do that? That doesn't even make sense. So I kind of, you know, in its own weird way, like watching a movie on the phone is kind of like you're not using your phone to respond to text messages while you're watching the movie. I support it. Also, the other thing, and I did say this on stream when I was talking about it and defending myself, but the movie is This Is 40, so like legitimately, who cares? Nobody on earth... If anybody in your life told you, oh, you have to see This Is 40 in theaters, that person is pranking you. They're lying to you. Or you're friends with Judd Apatow. Which is also, that's kind of cool. Like, just because he made a movie that I found a little self-indulgent doesn't erase all the stuff he made that I found hilarious. By the way, don't be a hater. We're not going to die. I know you're saying, I can't believe he's going to die. I'm not going to die. This is why we took a Sun card, in case this exact situation came to pass. I also got a little trick with my Eternal Heart coming up. How to turn your Eternal Heart into a Yum Heart in one simple way. I'm alright, I'm standing here. Get zapped. Close, close. I'm still okay. I'm just saying, it's too long. Watch this. Hey, that's one way to get one heart back. And I'm actually, am I glad that I took the lockpick? Nope. Turned out to not really matter. Hold on, though. Look at this. And look at this. And look at this. I guess we'll take Yuck Heart. It's risky, don't get me wrong. And actually, our damage is not that good. On the other hand, it is a way to replenish half of our HP, and if we get low, we just use the sun to replenish the rest, then maybe we go back and take a different item. So yeah, in case you're watching, you know, for Ryan's movie reviews, there's already a Ryan's toy review. It's that little kid who's like a multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire. Help me? I'm not hating on the kid, you know? There's certainly worse people who are richer on YouTube. I don't think there's any doubt about that. This is just it's just a kid doing toy reviews, you know? I've never seen a single one of his videos. I don't know, maybe he also goes on, like, anti-vax rhetoric or something. You never know these days, you never know. I have no, wait, excuse me, but I swallowed the trinket, right? I believe that I should be able to open that. I also believe you have my stapler. I completely forgot what I was talking about, and then I remembered as I was saying that I forgot. What I was going to say is, if you're watching this for Ryan's movie reviews, coming soon to a YouTube channel near you, last night in Soho, not good. This is 40, over long. Which, if you could only watch one of the movies, which one should you watch? I don't know, it's an interesting question. I would say that, believe it or not, I would probably give This Is 40 a better grade. But if it's between like a 5 and a 5 that's kind of like routine and a 4 that's kind of interesting, you should probably watch the 4 that's kind of interesting and go see Last Night in Soho. You could put that on the movie poster. If it's between Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho and Judd Apatow's overly self-indulgent diary entry, This Is 40, I would reluctantly choose Last Night in Soho, which at least is visually interesting. I think it's not fair to review a movie with Paul Rudd in it, though, because he's like such a... Like, I know we're probably reaching like peak Ruddness, where people are like, I don't want to hear about this guy. Yes, I know he's handsome. Isn't it crazy that he's 52, but he looks like 34? But he just seems like a likable guy. And I don't know if that's, you know, just acting. But I also, you know, a lot of actors who try to be likable seem unlikable. So it's hard to believe that there's not some sort of like organic charm coming through there. So I almost feel like you gotta subtract like a point from any movie that has Paul Rudd in it. Not because it has Paul Rudd, but because you must acknowledge the bias that you're likely to overrate a movie a little bit, slightly because of the Rudd factor. So I think you gotta pull 1 point off of This Is 40. It's like, if they had cast anybody but Paul Rudd as Paul Rudd's character, it would probably be like a 3. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. That helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!